The Daredevil universe returns. We're going to talk about Echo, 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 but it isn't any good. Hey, everybody, you're about to hear Steven get put in his place here on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Control with the radar, sir. What's wrong?
There is trouble with the radar, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your co-host, along with the one, the only, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land. Yeah, I was sliding down to get ready to hit hello there, and I accidentally clicked the geek dar.
Oh, it's like perfect timing. Just all of a sudden, there's trouble with the radar. It was great. I thought it was great timing. It was good. All right, everybody. Also, we have the one, the only, there's no one like him, Mr. Tharen Too Cool Lowery. Tharen, say hey.
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing out there? Geek world, how we doing?
We're doing. We're
all right.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Well, everybody, we've got an interesting show for you today because we are going to talk the newest Disney Plus / Marvel, or Marvel / Disney Plus, or the first foray of the Daredevil universe that was Netflix, now continuing on to Disney Plus. My brain went to, well,
are you confused?
I am a little, yeah, because this is the first one. This one's the one where I remember getting the warning where it was like, you need to change your settings if you want to watch this, the kind of a thing. And
yeah, I guess it was a little, probably a little more violent than some of the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't think it was like Daredevil violent though. Or Punisher violent.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have an interesting show today, everybody, because we're going to be talking about Echo. So, and Theron's here with us. And so this should be a very splendorific show. So thanks so much for joining us. Well, do we want to head on to our geeky news, sir?
Well, yeah, let's do that.
And I do have a geek dar too, by the way.
Oh, you do have a geek dar. Okay.
I do.
All right, let's move to geeky news first. All right, so I myself do not have any geeky news, but Tharen informed us as we were coming on that he has a gaming geeky news, and that's new.
I saw a headline for this, and so I'm like, what? And so Tharen has been investing in it, so I'm interested to hear all about his geeky news item.
I'm like hearing every other word you guys are saying. I'm sorry.
Oh no, we had everything going so well too.
So Tharen, tell us about your geeky news, your adventure.
It's like I hear you guys, but it's not even that.
Should we have Tharen go out and come back in? Maybe that'll clear it up.
Go for it. Yeah, Tharen, you want to come out and come back in, and I can do my geek dar.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me leave studio. Here we go.
All right.
Do that real quick.
So I guess technically his is really not geeky news. It's geek dar too, because he's been playing. Well, I don't want to ruin it for everybody because it's really, I'm so interested in hearing it. Okay. So should we go ahead and do the geek dar thing?
All right. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is a weird show today.
Control with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. That's not all he's lost.
All right. Well, hey everybody. I enjoyed the movie Aragon. When Aragon came up, gosh, I don't know, 2000 something when it came out and stuff.
Is that a dragon?
It is, yeah. Rachel Weisz did the voice of the dragon. Jeremy Irons played a certain character in there, and then at the very end, the super big bad guy for the whole series of books was played by John Malkovich, and I always enjoyed it. And I've got a friend out here who's just like, Steven, you got to read the books. You got to read the books. Well, the author of the books, Christopher Paolini, I'm probably not saying that right, was here in Bozeman last month because he was promoting his other book. So he's at the Barnes and Noble. I missed it. I didn't know about it till the day before, and I couldn't get my schedule switched around to go see him. And so my friend was like, you've got to read Aragon if you haven't read it. So I'm like, okay. So I got the audiobook, and with my Audible credit for the month. By the way, everybody, if you want to really get into audiobooks, we've got a link for you where you can get your first month for free. You could even cancel and be done and just get a free credit. You try it and try out Audible. So audibletrial.com/2geeks. Just saying, or just communicate now. Anyway, so we'll put that on the screen here a little bit later. But so I used my Audible credit and I've been listening to it here and there. And then I said, I could read this faster than the narration. I said I could do it faster, but I don't know. I absolutely love the book. Absolutely love it. The book has been great. So, in my night job, I get done with my stuff pretty early. So maybe I just sit and read for a little bit, kind of a thing too, as well. So
Tharen must be still having trouble.
Yeah. So we, so I'm like 82% all the way through it. So I'm almost there to the very end. And I tell you, it's so different than the movie, which is how it always rolls.
Well, yeah.
But it's so much more better than the movie. Oh,
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. So much more better than the movie.
Nice.
And I heard also that Disney Plus is going to do the series.
Oh, really?
They are coming out with an Aragon TV series. So,
well, look at you. You got some geeky news in your geek.
I guess so. I guess that does count. Yeah. So I don't know when their Aragon TV series. Aragon TV series. Let's see what it says. Let's see. It was announced back in September. Aragon is getting a live action do-over on Disney Plus.
Nice.
So I'm not sure when it will come out. So we'll kind of see. And all.
Well, since you mentioned a library event,
yes,
I did purchase a ticket to an upcoming library event in February 20th in St. Louis, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
And it is, I don't know. Yeah, you probably can't see my phone.
I see that barcode. Don't put it that barcode. An evening with Billy D.
Yep, an evening with Billy D. Williams. So Billy D. Williams has wrote a book, and I bought a ticket for the event, and I'll get a signed copy of his book and hopefully get to meet him on February 20th. So
nice.
That'll be my geekdar after February 20th, is meeting Billy D. Williams.
Very cool. Very cool.
I do have another geekdar though.
Excuse me, sorry.
And mine is Megan's more of a pop collector than me, but I do collect a few pops here and there. And then we were at at our flea market again last weekend, and I saw a pop that I just could not pass up.
Okay.
So pop I got last week was Deathstroke the Terminator, and he's like,
is he a big one, or is it just because it's real close to the
yeah, it's just real close to the
it looks so good.
Here, I'll even take him out.
We're getting an unboxing, everybody, here live on Two Geeks and a Microphone. He's pulling out Deathstroke.
Well, eventually he's going to go up on the wall. So I ordered stands for him to go up on the wall. So
The only bigger ones that we have, we got Frog Thor.
we got what?
Frog Thor.
Frog Thor. Yeah, Frog Thor is awesome.
He's a bigger box.
He stays in our camper though because he's a frog.
I have my
All right, there he is in his full
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
own. Oh, yeah, I paid my
Yeah.
I can't wait to put him up on the wall. He's going to be awesome. So
Yeah, he looks good. I like that.
all right,
I'll never forget that time we got a chance to meet Manu Bennett.
Oh, that was so cool. That was so
Okay,
cool.
let me leave this room.
We can hear you, Tharen. Are you there? We are having technical difficulties.
It is that kind of a morning, man. I spent this. Hey, anybody else having technical difficulties this morning? Because, man, it took me 10, 15 minutes just to get onto our StreamYard page. It wasn't StreamYard. It was my computer kind of a thing.
Well, my monitor is blinking out on me again, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I got a different monitor, too. But I think my hub that I have hooked up might be going bad. I have to invest in a new hub. We'll have to see what happens.
Gotcha.
Oh, Darren's bringing up a different camera.
It must be his phone.
Looks that way.
Hola, compadre.
Here we go.
Oh, we get a different view.
We get a different view.
Right. Oh, let's see if I can. Let me bring in. Okay, there we go. So I'm muting your. I'm gonna mute your camera because we've got your audio. Your audio's better on the other, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Nope, that didn't work.
I don't think his audio is working on the other one at all.
And,
Sorry for these technical difficulties, folks. All right.
All
I
right.
can't hear you guys on this one, so the audio, I believe, is
Do you hear us?
oops, I'm sorry, I touched the mic.
We can hear you.
The fun of going live, everybody.
I may have to edit this out of the audio version of it. All right. Well, Darren's getting set up.
Right into there.
All right. Well, let's continue on. So while he's getting that figured out, we can get to his other thing later. So, all right. Are we about to say welcome to the main event?
Oh,
Yes.
I guess you want me to do that, huh? All right, I'll do that.
It's time for the main event.
Put this
Yeah, I was
on
starting.
this further. Okay.
I was starting to listen to the Three Geeky Dads episode of Echo where they were starting to talk about it, and I forgot how they started it off. It was great because I was like, "What was it? The main part of the show?" And they were doing it. Almost sounded like they were doing the same thing. It was
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, not quite the same, but it just reminded me of ours. And I like, we copy from them so much, and I thought,
Okay, if they copy from us, that's fine.
right.
I was gonna listen to their episode, and then I was like, I don't want to be tainted, so I figured I'd wait. Right.
Right.
I don't want to be influenced by their review on it. To see what they compared to me and compared to Tharen. So Theren's still getting set up. I'll give my basic overview of the series. So Echo is continuing off of what we had seen from Daredevil. It was the Daredevil series where she was introduced. I really enjoyed that character in the Daredevil series too. Was
it Daredevil or was it Hawkeye?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It was Hawkeye. Yeah, not
Yeah.
Daredevil. It's Hawkeye. Thank you for that correction. But yeah, I really liked her introduction. I thought she was an interesting character. So I was kind of excited to see that she got her own series. It's a 5-episode series on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
and they are entitling this Marvel Spotlight. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, it's kind of looked at a little differently than some of the other series. And overall, I actually really enjoyed this series. One, I enjoy the character. I think Echo is an interesting character.
Yes.
Plus we get more of Kingpin. I absolutely love Kingpin.
You love Kingpin. Yeah. And was it still Vincent D'Onofrio?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was just as good as he was over in Hawkeye. So, and this is going to be a way for them to incorporate him over into the Daredevil universe, which is coming up soon. And from what I've heard, Disney has started refilming Daredevil because they started filming it. They had like 6 episodes filmed, and Kevin Feige walked in and said, "Scrap everything and start over."
Really?
Yeah, he was not happy with what they had done, and from what I heard, most of the fans weren't going to be happy either, because they basically killed off Foggy. They killed off what's her face, the love interest. They killed both of those characters off, and Daredevil didn't even wear the costume for the first 4 episodes. So it was like Feige's like, scrap this and start over. And I'm like, oh, thank God Kevin Feige stepped in on that.
Right.
Because I don't think I would have enjoyed that. But
I don't think anybody. You go 4 episodes without Daredevil being in the costume, even in it. Why?
what's the point?
What's the point? Yeah.
I don't see a point in that either. So yeah,
did he fire everybody, or did he give him a chance to read?
I don't know. I hadn't heard that he fired everyone. He just said, we're just scrapping all this and we're starting over. So, and I think they went in and wrote stuff, and yeah, so we get all our main characters back, and it should be back to the way fans enjoyed it over on the Netflix. You know, you already had a good show on Netflix. Why in the heck would you do that? I don't understand. Anyway, this is about Echo and not about Daredevil.
But it's the background. It's the background to it. Sorry.
You're right. It's the background.
We were throwing in a little bit of geeky news again, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're now continuing on with the main event.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Jumbled up.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
We hear you there.
Okay, cool. There we go. I had to switch over to the iPad, and then I had to get on the wireless headsets. For some odd reason, this laptop is not cooperating with the connectivity today. So sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody.
That's right. I will say this: sometimes StreamYard can suck up some resources from time to time.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I really enjoy the character Echo. I think she's an interesting character in the Marvel universe. I love Kingpin, absolutely love him, and I love how we learn this dynamic throughout the season between her and Kingpin.
Okay.
It really builds up the relationship between the two, and you learn a lot about the two of them.
You mean Queenpin? That's what she was trying to go for. She was trying to go for Queenpin.
Yes, she was. She was trying to go for Queenpin. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I think let's see, what are we using for a scale on this, Tharen? What would be a good thing for a scale on this? There wasn't really a real item that was used in it. God.
I would say something to do with like a E for sign language. You can do that because technically she's deaf and she's able to. She doesn't really have too many like weapons or anything. She's
just a fighting machine, really.
Yes, she's on the same scale as Matt Murdock. Actually, she's more of a superhuman type ordeal where she has like more athletic abilities than she is like super powered in that regards. So it's just like she hone her skills and she harnesses her skills. She has like she's on the same scale as like Taskmaster. That's mainly what I'm trying to say.
So yeah, I don't know. I'll give it we'll use ASL signs. That's American
There you go.
language for your information. For those who don't understand that.
No, what about those that are only doing audio only?
Well,
I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm just kidding. ASL signs. I'm like, if you're going to do American Sign Language, how are you? No, I'm just kidding.
my sign language is very limited, even though I did have an aunt and uncle who are deaf. But my sign, I know the alphabet, but that's
There you go. Yeah, like the alphabet letter for E. I think it's E.
E.
Yeah, E.
B,
There you
C,
go.
D, E, F.
Okay,
There we go.
All right, so I will give this out of 10 E's. I will give it 8 E's because I really enjoyed the series. I
Okay.
thought it was a
Okay.
fun series. The character's really good. Kingpin is good. Adds a lot to his story, and I think it really is going to add a lot to Daredevil once Daredevil premieres. So
Wow.
that's my overall.
This one, if you've seen the Daredevil series and then you also kind of follow a little bit of Hawkeye and stuff like that, you notice that how ruthless Fisk is. Fisk is like he is on par, like one of the if you're looking for like a true villain in the Marvel DC, Marvel. I'm not Marvel DC, but Marvel universe on a more not on a more galactic scale, more of a human scale. Yeah, Fisk is definitely one of those ones that pretty much will just rub you the wrong way. Not like Doom is good. Don't get me wrong. Doom is like, he's awesome too, but this is like really, really criminal, organized. He's a really good mastermind when it comes down to it. So yeah, they pretty much in this series, they kind of touched on Fisk's character where they tried to make him more likable. And you ain't gonna. I mean, as far as how ruthless Fisk is, you ain't gonna like Fisk. That's just because that one scene in Daredevil when he had the scene the car scene. If you've seen Daredevil, you know what I'm talking about. But the car scene in that one, and then you try
I'm
to
still
go to where
traumatized from that scene.
yeah, that's just like,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Kingpin is just brutal.
Kingpin is brutal no matter what it is, and they had it. They showed it like when Echo was very young in the ice cream salesman and stuff like that. That one scene when he took his frustration out on that guy tells you he has like a lot of ruthlessness in him. But she tried to, and I think that what it is, he had that Thanos effect. He tried to adopt that was his Echo was his Gamora. That's mainly what that was. He was trying to pour a lot of that into her.
That's
yes, sir.
Good analogy. Very good. Very good.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that. That is.
Oh yeah. That's mainly what that was. Echo was she was his Gamora, and then but it's funny how that dynamic between those two was and stuff like that. When she found out about the truth of who he was, she tried to go after him. I mean, it's really the same. That was kind of really the same kind of like analogy when it came down to it. Or hey, you killed somebody of mine and you raised me to be this ultimate fighting killing machine. Now I got to take you out and everything in that nature. And that's kind of what I was getting the trope of. But as far as the E sign language and stuff like that, I would say, yeah, that's about a 7-8. Her story, when it comes down to like the comics and stuff like that, they kind of did touch on those tidbits and everything. I kind of ran through a little bit of her synopsis when it comes down to her comic origin and stuff like that. They actually stuck true to what it was when she was coming of age. So I thought that was pretty good.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your score for this?
Final score, 7 or 8?
Let's go with an 8 for this one. Yeah, I'm gonna rank this as pretty high. Yeah, they do very, very well. They do very, very well with just cutting straight to the point when it comes down to like the character development and also the choreography in some of those fight scenes. Oh yeah, I could not see. I was like, I had to double take those, especially the fight scene between her and Daredevil. I was just like, run that back. I got to see that again. It was good. It was good. I kid you not.
I have not heard a lot of the reviews for this show. Steven, you had said that you'd heard some disparaging stuff about it.
Yeah.
I can't say that. I don't know what was said. I have no idea what they didn't like about the show. And I know in the past I don't like, female characters who are Mary Sue's. I don't think you could say that about Echo though, because
Oh
Echo
no.
she was brought up in Hawkeye. Her character was built up in
Introduced,
Hawkeye
right?
and
Mhm.
introduced, and you kind of got a good feel for her in Hawkeye. So
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole Mary Sue thing. So, and again, I don't know if that's what people are saying. I have no
Mm-mm.
idea. And sometimes how do I put it? I don't know. The pandering can be, like, okay, she's Indian, obviously. She's American Indian.
Mhm.
And some people could be saying that's pandering or whatever. I didn't feel that way. I felt everything went really well with the story. And
Mhm.
if it works with the story, if it's done to work with the story, then I'm fine with it. But if you're just throwing it in because, oh well, we need this and we need this just to check boxes and stuff, which I didn't get that feeling from this show. So I don't know what they're complaining about. Maybe those are it. I have no idea. But overall, I thought it was really well done. It was neat because they they use the Choctaw Indian tribe is what they use
Mhm.
for this, and there's a big um uh, oh gosh, what is the word I'm looking for? Uh, there's a lot of Choctaw Indian in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
So a couple weeks ago, when Brendan and I went to Dallas to see Cowboys game, we actually drove right past the big casino that was actually featured in the series.
Oh,
And
cool.
Oh, cool.
yeah, so when it
Yeah.
came on, I was like, "Hey, we drove past that casino. I know that casino." It was kind of neat,
I
So
would
yeah,
say
I thought it was really good.
for her to be a Mary Sue in this situation, I don't see that. No, because the way they were throwing blows at her, and the way she took a lot of I would say damage, like she's in the video game. But then again, the way she was taking a lot of hits, they did like when her and Daredevil was going against each other. He wasn't pulling his punching. He was
Oh,
really going to, and they were going back and forth. But I do like the effect that how she went on a spiritual journey to find herself, to try to find her roots when she realized that how far she was so under Fist's thumb that when she broke those ties and everything of that nature, she had to go back and find her roots. So that part I can see people talking about, like, oh, it's kind of going, she's went on a spiritual journey like the Native Americans typically do. But every culture does that to a certain.
right.
The Jewish people, they go back to Israel to to the wall and everything, and it's a lot of Africans go back to I mean, it's just the people who culturally do things like that to find their roots to go back to it. And I don't think Marvel really, I think they pay homage to a lot of the cultural effects that they kind of brought up in this series. In fact, they are actually doing a lot more to that effect. They have a lot more ethnic folks that are basically with background. They even with Black Widow, they're talking about her Russian roots and everything, that nature, her Russian heritage and everything. I thought that was pretty good. They don't forget where they came from, but then again, at the same time, they do, show a lot more diversity within just the audience. And I guess some people just, they may have an issue with that. Oh, we just need to have, our superheroes to just be superheroes and nothing else. No backstory to that pedigree where it's talking about one culture versus the other. It's not that big a deal, to be honest with you.
Well, like I said, if they're doing it to check boxes, I don't normally like that. But if they're doing it because it enhances the story, then
Mm.
yeah. And I
Mhm.
really felt it did enhance the story. I thought
Okay.
the Indian heritage was really good in this. It was worked in well. Um, you know, from the aspect that she's quote unquote a superhero, I thought it was very believable. From the aspect of her character and such. Um, and like Tharen said, everybody goes on spiritual journeys and stuff like that, and that's pretty much what she did. I liked how we saw the buildup of her character. We got to see where she started as a kid. We saw
Mhm.
her as a child. We saw who her father was. I mean, he was, basically working for the mob. more or less, and she was kind of brought up into that to work into the mob, and she was kind of trained in that way, which he says to her, I don't want you to grow up like I did, but
he raised her.
That did not happen.
In fact, he actually wanted to recreate the scene between him and his father with her, so therefore she can be more in tune and alike to his making, to his creation. He wanted her to be like him and stuff like. That's why she was just like, I'm gonna try to take down his organization, and that didn't happen. You know, it ain't gonna happen because just Kingpin just got ties everywhere, man.
You're not taking down the Kingpin. I mean, she's pretty tough and all, but she's nothing compared to the Kingpin.
Spider-Man can't take down the Kingpin,
right? Exactly.
And he has multiple abilities. I do like the fact that how they
Daredevil can't.
Yeah, Daredevil. No, he cannot.
Daredevil not only has the ability, but he has the law on his side too, and he still can't take Kingpin down.
He can't take him down, as a lawyer or as just like a crime fighter. It's not that you can't. Fist is very, very. Hell, I want to say, let's go straight further. Punisher ain't gonna be able to take him down either. Even if he get close to him, he ain't taking him out. No. And that tells you right there, Frank Castle is a beast. He ain't taking on the Kingpin. He knows the ramification behind it. So it's just one of those things where I thought that was pretty interesting. But I do like how they talk about her. I'm sorry, I'm gonna echo rather how they talked about her roots and the First Nation people that came through the portal and stuff like that. Did you guys get I'm sorry, Mike. Did you get the sense that it was more like the Eternals? Like they were just like, they were beings from a different universe, and then they came into this reality and they became known as humans. Did you catch that?
See, I don't know a lot about the Eternals because, for one, I didn't watch the Eternals and I've never read it. But yeah, I get what you're saying there, and yeah, I kind of feel that way too. Her ancestors kind of empower her and give her more power to Now, my question is though, they said that her mother was a healer. So
yeah, she was.
Does she did she gain that ability? I wasn't sure whether she gained that ability of being a healer like her mother.
I think that they were trying to say that all of that came through the women. It echoed through all of the women throughout that lineage. So she was traced back to the first Choctaws or whatnot, or I'm sorry, from butchering the tribe. It came from, she was the first nation that basically was established that power. All of the women had that in them, and they wanted to keep that carried along. And then it just basically, it echoes into her. And that's why she was able to use it, but she's not able to use it to do like special things. She was able to like basically like she healed the hurt within Kingpin, or I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it, but then again she kind of like she did something to Kingpin. I'm not gonna say heal the hurt. It kind of seemed like she healed the hurt to him, but she kind of healed him to heal this pain, and everything in that nature to try to make him more human. And we already know that Kingpin is pretty much, he's far from, I'm gonna say he's not far from human, but then again, he's far from like basically having human emotion than anything else. Dude is definitely human. He just had a lot of rage into him. She has that ability.
In a way, he's kind of superhuman. I mean, he's not, but he has some kind of ability because after all, he took a bullet to the face from her. I thought
she kind of, the way it looked like she shot him to the point where it grazed his eye, and she didn't want to kill him. That's one of those things. It left you with the impression like if she wanted to kill him, she would have killed him, but she didn't want to kill him. And that was by just to send a message to him and everything.
Oh, Steven's got to talk here.
Yeah, if she wanted to, she would have done it. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I shot him in the face. How did you not die?" And I was thinking to myself too, like, "Yeah, you killed plenty of people throughout the series. How do you not stand point blank in front of somebody, shoot them directly on, and then just assume that they are just, it is shock. Oh my God, he's alive. Come on now."
Steven, I'm dying. What are you thinking over there?
So you're referencing that scene that's at the end of Hawkeye.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And so it leaves you like she shot him. And you're telling me, point blank range, she only grazed his temple or something?
Well,
Yes.
I
Well,
think
it's somewhere. She shot him like somewhere like right here with the eye, like the. Yeah.
That's okay. I don't care about that detail as much as I'm like, what? You made me think all this time that, I mean, of course he had to come back. He's a great character. It's a great
Right.
actor playing a great
Mhm.
character.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, for
no
sure.
doubt about that. And I'm thinking, well, you just misled me at the end of Hawkeye, and now you're saying here's this really cool. I don't know. Can you really say superhero for
Well,
Echo?
What was that?
she's on par with Daredevil.
No, she's not super. She's like superhuman. They're more like they have like
Okay.
they're like really strong, like Batman or like
Right.
you know.
So does she
Yeah.
have kind of the character arc where she was bad, but now she's kind of a, I don't want to say anti-hero, but
Like
she's
Elektra?
got remorse for her past and now she's trying to be much more betterer.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Oh crap!
There.
I didn't get my drink.
That's all right.
I knew he was gonna say it eventually. I didn't know.
Yeah, I believe this series was kind of that arc, you know, to show that she has been a villain, but then by the end of the series, she's saying, because she like Tharen said, she was striving to become the queen pin, and
Mhm.
he was ready to give it to her too. He really was.
Mhm.
Ooh,
I mean, he wasn't going to step down, but he was willing to make her his second. Is
Yes.
what, you know,
okay.
is what he was willing to do.
Yeah.
And she was ready to take it. And then things happen throughout this series, and she realizes, no, I am on the wrong path. So
Yes.
yeah, it was kind of a hero's journey, is what
Yes,
this
it was.
season was.
You mean a villain's journey?
Well,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Okay. Well, no,
Coming of age.
I think I
Okay.
think she's coming over to the hero side. You know,
Mhm.
you
Come
know,
on over here. We have cookies.
we have come to the dark side, or maybe come to the light side. Come to the
Yeah,
light
it's-
side. We have cakes. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, right. We have cake.
So if you think of it, it's just like, you know, it's kind of like I said, I want to use that. I want to go back and try to use that Guardians reference again. It's kind of like Gamora. Gamora wasn't necessarily bad. She just worked for
Right.
Thanos. All right. So and then when she realized, she found out about the truth, then, you know, she became more of a Guardian. She's not technically bad. She can kill if she needs to be, but then again, she tried to pull it back. All right. Let me throw another analogy to you. If Echo is more like, she's like Shuri. If you ever in Wakanda Forever, and this is the reason why I wanted to bring this point up to you, Mike. If you think about it, Shuri, she was not a part. She did not believe in the heart-shaped herb. She did not believe that, you know, T'Challa was like that until she gained that power and ability, and she became the Black Panther and stuff like that.
She was all about the tech. She was
all about the tech. She was all about her own. She was on her own way. She was trying to leave culture behind. And then all of a sudden she adopted the culture, and then she became more in tune with who she became to be at the end of that movie.
Yeah,
Very similar to Echo.
That's not bad, because Echo is all about building herself up and strength.
She didn't want to be around her family. She didn't want to be one of her grandmother. Yeah.
Well, I think partially there, she wanted to protect her family. You know, she felt
Couldn't agree. Yeah.
Stayed away from them, that it would protect them more. You know, I think that's the reason she stayed away.
Yeah.
And then I think as she got closer to the family again, she realized that's when she starts to realize, wait a minute, this whole gangster life, this is not where I should be at, you know. And that's when she starts embracing her culture more.
She put on the garb. She put on her armor, her family, you know, essence and everything. And you notice that she had all of her ancestors behind her that came into her. You can't possibly tell me that is nowhere near similar, you know, connotations of just like the Mayans from what's that? From what's it was in Wakanda Forever. It's the folks that was in the Wakanda Forever.
I don't remember. But
Namor's people. They all have the it was just like that type of deal. It's like, we got is family. We're gonna have is our culture, and we got to basically embrace that. So therefore, it kind of goes into the fold of that. So if that's the thing that people are basically saying, like, hey, if you're from a tribe, then you got to stick with your own, and that's the stretch they trying to like basically throw shade at the series for. Whatever, man. It is what it is. But at the same time, I always thought it was like a pretty good thing. I always thought it was a pretty good take on it because their characters are always going to be, they're going to always have some type of like, sense to protect, their loved ones.
Right.
Just thought it was, he thought he wanted to Echo be the one he wanted to pass it down to. She was like, nah, son, I got my own. You go find your own.
We do have to talk about Kingpin a little bit because, again, I love the character Kingpin and what's his face, the actor. He does such
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Who was Thor in Adventures of Babysitting, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. You know the scene in Adventures of Babysitting where they go to the car shop?
Yeah.
And the mechanic, he's got the long blonde hair, the hat, and he's holding the hammer.
Yeah.
And the little girl, she loves Thor, and she's like, it's Thor! That's him.
No way.
Yes. So he's played Thor, and he's played Kingpin.
Oh my goodness. I've still got to look that up real quick, everybody. You guys keep talking, but I got to look it up.
Okay.
So
I'm an Elizabeth Shue fan, so I was like, I've seen that movie. I'm thinking, what?
Oh yeah, well, of course, if you grew up on 80s movies, you had to see Adventures in Babysitting. It was a great movie. But anyway, Kingpin, I love his character, and I love the story arc with this, and I love how he takes her in as family, and he protects her and trains her. But the thing that ticks me off, so he spent most of her life he had an interpreter, right? He had a sign language interpreter.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
Right? And then finally, then one day he goes, "You're not needed anymore." And she's like, he goes, "You're dismissed." And she starts to walk out, and as she walks out, his people kill her, which I knew was going to happen because she knows everything. She knows everything about the organization, and he can't let a loose end like that outside the organization. So he has her killed. And my first thought was, oh, well, great. Then he's learned, not great that he killed her, but great. He's learned sign language now. No, he comes up with tech, and the tech does the sign language for him. And I'm like, you rotten fat bastard, you.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. You cannot put it past this man. He is on a whole nother level. He is the villain. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's kind of like, damn, how come I didn't think of that? Like, I knew it was bad to say. It's like, man, this dude is horrible.
But he acts like he loves her so much, but yet he doesn't love her enough to actually learn sign language. No, I'm going to spend a buttload of money to come up with tech to do it for me. You're rotten to the core, man.
And he tried to butter her up by coming back around, giving her like a basket full of her favorite foods and cookies and wine. And she was just like, nah, son, I'm going to pour this expensive bottle of wine down the drain. I'm like, if you killed somebody and they come and give you food and wine and cookies, would you think to eat it? I was like, she is nowhere near going to eat that crap. Talking about, let's have our Sunday dinner.
Yeah,
shot me in the face.
Well, now when she poured the wine out, I thought she was going to poison him. That's what I thought she was doing.
I thought she was going to make it into like a weapon or something like that to try to kill him again. Every time she kind of like was coming in, that was one thing I thought was kind of silly too. She kept running with the gun to try to go through like the house or try to find where she was at. And I was like, ain't nobody seen this lady run through the house with a gun? It's kind of weird. All right, whatever. He, as skilled as a lot of them are, they like slap the gun out of their hands and all that stuff like that. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Now, and I liked her cousin. I don't know why.
Oh, Bonnie.
Yeah, no, biscuits.
Oh no.
Biscuits.
Oh, Biscuit. Yeah, Biscuit. Yeah.
Biscuits was hilarious. He was so much fun.
Oh yeah,
Good.
he was fun.
I enjoyed
Yes.
that character a lot. And it was hilarious when he borrows their grandmother's truck and
Yeah.
follows Echo, because Echo sets up that deal where she's gonna blow up the train car to send a message to Kingpin, and he's following the train out, four-wheeling basically, and just tearing up the truck and everything. And he's like, "Oh my god, what do you call her, Mama, Mima?" I don't know what his name for grandma was, but you know, they had a name for grandma, and he's like, "She's gonna kill me."
That was funny. Yeah.
And then you see the grandma, and she's talking to the neighbor, and the neighbor's like, "Where's your truck?" And she goes, "Oh, I lent it out to Biscuits." And the next thing you know, he comes driving by, and he's like, "Open."
Broken fender like a mother. The front part was all damaged. She was just like, she just let him be. She was just like, whatever, man. That was funny. I do like the dynamics between the grandmother and her husband or late husband or whatnot. That was actually very cute. That was very I like the dynamics between them. That even though they have, you know, she has a lot of, and it was kind of a similarity too. The grandmother, she felt a lot of rage because she lost her daughter, obviously Echo's mother. But then again, that reverberated down to Echo to have a lot of rage too. So she realized that that's how they were all connected. Like the mother, the grandmother, all of them were connected because every time one felt something, it was communicated throughout the generations. And I thought that was
grandmother never trusted. She never trusted Echo's father to begin with.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
She knew that he was a bad seed. You know, she knew he was involved in stuff that she didn't want her family to get involved in and everything. And then that led up to her daughter getting killed, you know, because they killed her to send a message to him, you know. So she always hated him because of that. And I don't think Echo really understood at that time, because she was still so young, of exactly what happened. So she in turn had all this hatred toward her grandmother because of the hatred her grandmother had to her father. You know, that's bringing all the turmoil to the family. I thought it was good. I thought it helped build up the story and everything. It sucks that the grandmother and the grandfather ended up separating. But I do like how they seem to be, by the end of it, kind of repairing their relationship. I'm hoping the two of them get back together by the end of it. And the grandfather was great. He was fun.
He was good. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked him. He was kind of a handyman. And like when she messed up her prosthetic leg, because Echo has a prosthetic leg.
No, true. Yep.
And when she messed up her prosthetic leg, he's like, "I can fix it." And then he gives her like this crappy, prosthetic leg. And he goes, "Don't run off with that." And she goes, "Yeah, like I could run on this thing."
Yeah. So that was another thing too about her being like some type of Mary Sue. She first of all, she's a mixed martial artist, but she has like a prosthetic leg, which she used to her advantage. If you notice, she used her leg to do a lot more of those like kicking abilities and stuff like that. Oh man, she was using that thing like it was no tomorrow. She kicked the crap out of people with that thing. I was like, oh my goodness, she was brutal with it. It's
almost like having a weapon, man.
yeah, for sure. That was really good on her behalf. I thought, and then also,
I think the actress actually is a mixed martial arts person too. I think she can actually do a lot of her own stunts.
So, oh yeah, she was great. I mean, she was great at that.
As an actress herself, she's an MMA.
Yeah, I think she is. I think her background is like in MMA or something like that. I think.
Yeah, she was really good.
But yeah, I think she made a lot of the. I think she made a lot of the stunts believable. They looked.
Yeah.
She did a good job. You know how sometimes when they do the choreography for these things, they, it's like, oh yeah, you can tell.
They're very cheesy, yeah.
Right. This person doesn't know what they're doing. And I didn't get that feeling from her at all. I felt she really knew how to move and do most of the stuff that she could do in the show.
Nice.
So, that was another thing that I thought helped advance the show and make it better.
Not only that, she was I did a little bit more research into her character. She had like because when Fisk killed the father and everything in that nature, and he kind of sent her to a gifted school because he didn't feel like she was very useful at the time. But she went through like she went through mixed martial arts training. She went through like rigorous like fight schools, she was a ballerina. And one of the scenes in that scene where she did like a pose like a ballerina and she held the kick and she came down and hit the like I said, if you could go back and you watch that fight scene with her and Daredevil, it's very much like a dance. Like they both was dancing and it looked really good. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like you see her poses and pirouette and everything in that nature. You see him doing a lot of his stuff. He was hitting her hard. Like I said, when he was hitting her hard, she was taking every blow and she was coming back at him too at the same time. She tried to take him out. And that's one of the things that kind of gravitated her more to Fisk because she stood her own against Daredevil, and he was like, okay, I didn't think you was going to make it out of that. But then again, I see your purpose now. All right, now let's continue forward with our operations on you becoming who I want you to be. And that's what makes her very, very unique in the eyes of Fisk and also as a formidable fighter with Daredevil.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So overall, I enjoyed the series. I think it's really good. I think if you liked Hawkeye and you liked Daredevil, I think you like this series.
It ties in. Nice miniseries.
Definitely, if you like Kingpin, yeah, definitely watch this because it adds a lot to his character, and you see a lot more buildup of how he really is and how he thinks, and the control that Kingpin has. It wasn't just her story; it was also Kingpin's story. So, and I think it's going to be the bridge to put Kingpin back into the Daredevil, into the new Daredevil series is what I think this is.
Yeah. Fun fact though, Echo was actually the first Ronin. Her character was actually Ronin first before it was actually adopted by Clint Barton. She gave that title over to him, just to let you know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So Clint was the one who became more. You've seen him as Ronin in the Endgame series and stuff like that. He showed up in this series too, and in Hawkeye he was a little bit of like that. But for the most part, Echo was actually her character was Ronin first before he actually took over that mantle. Just to give you guys a little bit of a comic book lore behind that. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. Yes, sir.
Nice. So and the scene, Steven, you were talking about earlier. The scene from Hawkeye when she shoots Kingpin in the face, that actually was done in the comic books.
Yes,
and they did it almost identical to what you saw. Because I looked that up when it happened because I'm like, did her character really shoot him in the face like that? Sure enough, she did. But in the comic books, he actually lost his eyesight in both eyes in the comics for temporarily. Because he ends up getting it back and everything, and he comes back a lot of the same way in the comic books. So they actually that's one thing they stayed true to the comics. So it wasn't, Steven, it wasn't just done for I'm gonna
cliffhanger.
It wasn't just done as a total cliffhanger because it actually was done in the
that was a thing. Right. Yeah. So. That the hammer, the one he used to kill his dad with and stuff like that, that was another one.
Okay, I got a fun fact about the hammer. So they showed the hammer in this, right? Because Kingpin, he brings her the hammer that he killed his father with. Okay, and he tried.
Father was abusive to the mother. He couldn't take it no more, and he had to kill his father. Just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory.
Right, and he tried to give it to her to kind of pass it on, and and bring her into the fold and such. Right. Somebody made a comment later on that they recast the hammer because if you look at the scenes, because they show the scenes in Daredevil where they have the kid the kid who's Fisk, and he comes at his dad with the hammer. He has a ball peen hammer in Daredevil, But in Echo, he tries to give her a claw hammer. Yes, Disney doesn't pay attention to details.
That's funny. That's funny.
So yeah, Disney recast the hammer.
Yes.
So there's my fun fact of the day.
I love it. That's pretty funny.
All right. Well,
I do want to still hear Tharen. I still want to hear about your Geekdar.
Yes.
Stuff. So
okay.
So we're going to transition everybody because I still want to hear. I want to still want to hear his Geekdar. Other things. So, all right. Well, hey everybody, we're wrapping up our whole section on Echo and doing a deep dive on it. And thanks for joining us for that part of it. Now we are about to hear from Tharen on some interesting news. I saw a news headline, and I've already been curious about how did you call it? What was it? What kind of game is it? It is such and such with what?
It's Pokemon with guns.
What?
So, just to give you guys a heads up, right about now, it's been taking Steam and it's on Game Pass. It's been taking Steam by storm, but it's on Game Pass. It's been out for about a month now, and it's a game called Power World. Pal World, rather. So it's more of a survival Pokemon catch 'em all game type ordeal. Gotta catch 'em all. But then again, this game is very unique because it was only created by basically about a handful of developers who wanted to basically create like a game that was on Unity, and then it kind of ultimately came over to Unreal. But they use a lot of the character style from the Nintendo's Pokemon world and stuff like that, and then a lot of but they switched up the names. They have different color things to them. You can see that the similarities to a degree, but at the same time, it is a open world type of survivalist game.
So it's not actually Pokemon then.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not. All of the aesthetics look like Pokemon, but
Pikachu's not going to have an AR in this.
No, not Pikachu, but this other character that looks like Pikachu that has a name similar to Pikachu. He has a submachine gun. You can equip your pals, rather. I'm not going to call them Pokemon anymore because copyright infringement. But your pals, you can equip your pals with certain abilities, which gives them fighting traits and things of that nature. You can fly, you can run, they can do double jumps, they can do a lot of things. It's a very unique game in a sense, and it's kind of the game I've been wanting the Pokemon franchise to go in, where you can have a little bit more open world feel to it. Kind of gave me that Sonic the Hedgehog, that New Frontier type feel, where it has a little bit more real world, plus your favorite character is Sonic, and he can do a lot more cool stuff, and it's a little bit more dated to that regards. But yes, Power World is actually really good. It's out on Game Pass. It's out on Steam. Steam has the more updated patches, but the Xbox Series is actually pretty well, and it's I think it's really well favored. Now I don't know what Nintendo's response is going to be when they see all this, because considering it is Nintendo, they will, they jump down. If you try to go with any of their IPs, they will come at you hard. But I did see that Nintendo did kind of on the Mario Brothers movie, they did kind of let it be known that the blue shell that was in the Super Mario Brothers movie, the latest one, they said, okay, fine, people can call it the blue shell. It was called technically the spiky shell, the spiny shell, or whatever it was. It wasn't necessarily called the blue shell, and that blue shell first appeared in Super Mario Kart and stuff like that. And they put it in a movie. They called it that in the movie, and then they had a big lawsuit about it. And then they said, fine, everybody, we're not going to call it spiny shell. We're going to call it blue shell. Boom, let it go. So yeah.
Okay.
There, according to New York Times, they said after several days of speculation, the Pokemon Company and Nintendo have signaled they are investigating Power World, a viral Pokemon clone that has sold over 8 million copies in less than a week. That was just 2 days ago.
Yes.
Wow. So they are investigating them for potential IP infringement.
I've seen things that have said that Power World is protected by parity. However, there are mods that that have been made to make all the
Pokemons.
yeah make
The pals.
Nintendo is going after them.
Well, yeah, I'd say Nintendo has the right to do that for sure. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, you're using their property,
Right.
and if they're making money, well, but then again, you said that's
It's a mod. So
Mod.
it's a
It's a
mod. I
mod.
doubt it.
It's not technically an intellectual property. It's like it's
Yeah, I get it. Like
yeah,
there's mods.
yeah.
There's mods to give characters certain, looks and stuff for other games and that don't, from other IPs also. So yeah, but that's probably where they could go after them. That
Mhm.
mods are getting, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I'll follow this story because I'm curious if Nintendo, because you're right, man. Nintendo goes after whoever and however. I mean, they were going after YouTubers that were
Oh, yeah.
streamers,
Yep.
saying that you're using our game to make content, so therefore it's infringement and all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff.
Well,
You
it's no
can't
different
use any of the music. You can't use any of the IPs. None of that stuff. You will get hit with a copyright. You will get a hit with a cease and desist letter real quick with Nintendo.
no different than Disney. Disney goes after everyone
Oh
too.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah, for sure.
They're ruthless. So
Right.
and
Everyone,
I mean,
that's why we didn't show any images off the Echo TV series or anything because we didn't want. No, I'm just teasing. I'm teasing.
or play music or
Right.
I mean, they have a right. It's their property. I get it, and that's their money. You're infringing on that, so it makes sense. But there are some times that I think they go overboard about things, and we'll see how this goes. If the characters are not their characters, though,
Well, like I said, it's like there's certain artistic styles they switched up. You can see the similarities in them. They may have a little bit of different, like wider eyes, a little bit more fluff to them, a little bit more different color than the Pokemon that they're trying to resemble. But and they're called something else different. It's not the same name.
Right.
None of the names are the same. So that's where it's just like, it's a gray area. I want to see how well this works because I was thinking to myself too. I always wanted a game like this, to be honest with you.
Instead of Pikachu, it's Pikachu.
Yeah, for sure. Or what's it? Just call them like Electric Rat or something like that. Boom, there you go. Sparky Rat. There we go.
There you go. That's weird. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not much of a gamer, so I did recently rehook up my my Wii system. We were playing Wii system over the Christmas break.
A Wii, Mike?
The Wii.
You talking about the Wii U? That's what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I misheard you.
No,
you talking about the Wii.
The Wii. We were playing Super Mario Brothers and bowling and.
Megan, you can get your father a Nintendo Switch where he can get all these games more.
No, she won't let me use her Switch.
It'd be funny if they get Power on the Switch. Ooh, that would be great.
Oh,
they lost the lawsuit. Now they got to put it on the platform. Won't that be something?
Wow. I wonder if there's some way that you can put it on the Switch.
Oh, I'm sure there's.
That's funny.
All right, that's all from me for right now. Oh, and Aquaman. I guess have you guys seen the latest Aquaman? We're probably gonna cover that. If not,
I haven't seen it yet.
When does it get released, or is it released?
Well, the movie came out in December, and it just went to streaming for rental. I don't know if you can.
Okay.
Yet, but I think it's available rental. It hasn't hit WB or Max or whatever the heck they're calling it today.
Okay. Yeah, I wanna try to jump on that one real quick. I know we're gonna do the DC Crisis, but we're gonna talk about more of the DC stuff upcoming, Mike. And I was wondering if we're gonna touch back on Aquaman here. If not, then it's all good.
We can discuss that.
Okay.
Now next week, Megan and I will be on. Steven's getting to take a trip next week, so he won't be with us. But Megan and I are going to cover the movie Wonka, so I'm looking forward to
okay, cool.
to geeking out with Megan next week.
Right on. That will be good.
You gonna have Wonka bars in the background?
Oh, and before I forget, we do have our upcoming Star Wars Podcast Day, which will be February 10th. We'll be doing our episode on February 10th. The actual Star Wars Podcast Day, however, is February 7th. I'm supposed to let everyone know I got an email from Star Wars I got a message from Star Wars Podcast the other day. So Star Wars Podcast Day is February 7th, and it is to pay homage to the very first Star Wars podcast ever, which was Jedi Talks, and that premiered 1999, February 7th of 1999 or something like that. So that is the reason we do Star Wars Podcast Day, just to pay homage to Star Wars podcasting and the whole Star Wars community and so on and so forth. And we're going to have a fun episode. We're going to do an AI-based episode, a what if. Yeah, it's funny. In the last 2 weeks, what if in the Star Wars world has really come full circle, because there's rumors that Star Wars is going to have their own what if series. And
really?
One of the topics that everybody keeps throwing out is, what if Qui-Gon Jinn survived? And I'm like, that was ours. We did that. That's our idea.
Dang, Mike, we did it first. We said it first. All right, you're going Ray J on us. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kept seeing it. I even see the same image that I used for the thumbnail, and I'm like, that's even the image I used. Stop it.
Right? They stole our stuff.
There you go. All right, then you guys are gonna be like Nintendo. We're gonna put you in an investigation if y'all come out with something.
I'm talking to you, Star Wars Theory.
That's funny, man.
He's the one I heard it on. I was like, "What? That's ours. We did that first."
Yeah.
Well, we haven't done it yet, but we're going to do it. We're doing it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we're gonna be creating a story with AI. How to do that, how to walk through it, and discover our story all together. And then eventually, for our Ko-fi members, we're gonna make an audio book out of it with voices and music and stuff like that. So,
you think we can get Liam Neeson to voice?
If you can get Liam Neeson, I'm telling you, man, that's going to be epic right there.
It'll be an AI Liam Neeson.
Maybe we can have George Lucas narrate it. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Faster, more intense. All right. I think we need to wrap this up.
Right. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on Two Geeks and a Microphone. Please check us out at www.twogeeksmike.com. But I also want to draw your attention to what I mentioned earlier today, that if you want to try out your own Audible, get a free audiobook with Audible, go to www.audibletrial.com/2geeks, TWOGEEKS. Check it out there. Audible is just a one-stop shop for all kinds of audiobooks, all kinds of different genres, whether you are into self-development, whether you're into business, whether you're into even meditation, even audiobooks for exercise, even science fiction, fantasy. As I said, I've been listening to Aragon over the last week. I won't say when, because people from my work, my night job may be listening. Just saying, kind of a thing. But anyway, the point being is, everybody, check it out. You can get, if you go to our website, www.audibletrial.com/2geeks, you can get your first month for free, get a free audio book of your choice. It could be the latest and greatest, which is really cool. Check that out. If you continue on, it's only like $14.99 a month. You get one free credit. You can use that credit towards any audio book. Some of those books out there are worth $20, $30. Some are even ranged at $50. But you can get it for one Audible credit for only $15. So check it out. They also have the Audible Plus library, which are all kinds of free audiobooks that are all part of their Audible Plus catalog, which is pretty phenomenal. They've got some great classics that are in there, like Great Expectations, even Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I mean, just all kinds of different genres available even on those. So please check it out at audibletrial.com. Now, if you want to get there, you can also go to our website. If you can't remember where what that link was, go to 2geeksmike.com, and all of our affiliate sponsors are on there, so you can check those out. Now, if you do want to support us, you can also find this web link on there. It's Ko-fi.com/2geeks. We have a $1 tier, a $2 tier, and a $3 tier, and where you can just check out stuff. And as I said, we are going to, I'm very excited about, for Star Wars Podcast Day, we're going to actually create an audiobook of what we create for our listeners, for our Ko-fi subscribers. If you want to reach out to Mr. Mike and myself, you can check us out at show@2geeksmike.com. Just use that email. Mike looks at it much more better than I do. Just saying. But that's the best way to get a hold of us if you want to say hey, or any ideas for topics that you are curious about if we are going to cover things like that. So with that being said, also, I got one last website. Here it comes. Mike worked hard on this one. 2geeksmikemerch.com. 2geeksmikemerch.com will take you to our fourth wall page. The number 2 geeksmikemerch.com, and that'll take you to our specific fourth wall store page where we got all kinds of t-shirts and all kinds of stuff for 2 Geeks. So we got more stuff coming onto that site as well. So pretty excited about that. All right. So don't forget, if you want to get to any and all aspects of our Podbean podcast page, you can go to 2geeksmike.com for those. All right, Mike, anything else?
With that said, well, first, make sure and go and like and subscribe. Go like us on Facebook. Give us a follow over there, and make sure you give a like on YouTube and give the bell a tickle. That way you'll be notified every time we go live. And speaking of live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math because I don't like math. And with that said, I don't have anything else. Steven, you have anything else?
We're all good, my friend.
All right, I'm looking for the outro. All right, I don't have a good outro line for Echo, so I'm just going to stick with the Marvel standard. Enough said. Over and out. Thank you for joining us today on the 2 Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the Force be with you.